Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to Ask to My Ops.
where we challenge you to stop playing and start pushing.
This right here is my boo thing. My wife, Fiona.
And this right here, this is my appetizer, my main course, and my dessert. My baby, my husband, Aize.
I
Yeah,
like that.
I had to put it out there. Had to flex a little bit today.
Hey, what's up, y'all? So today we're coming to y'all to talk about an important piece of what it means to be in a successful relationship. And that particular piece, it really revolves around the core element of acceptance. We're lifting this up because we've noticed in our practice that oftentimes couples are coming to us and there's challenges when it comes to how one person communicates, how one person negotiates work, how one person, deals with the children. And so there's these different variances in a relationship that can oftentimes cause conflict. And so a lot of this stuff, y'all, really just comes from essentially our upbringing and the way we were raised. And we impose that upon how we do ourselves in our daily lives as adults. And so, I'm lifting this up because, you're not just doing you in your relationship. You got somebody else you got to consider. And so in considering somebody else, I know you also want consideration as well. So again, the key word here, y'all, is acceptance. And so, baby, what's the value of...
Can you get, let's give an example, though, for people in terms of areas that typically are hard for us to accept.
When I think about even in our relationship, I mean, there's specific idiosyncrasies that...
Idiosyncrasies?
Yeah, that you got.
Wordsmith.
That...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Such as?
Yeah, that may irritate... Like, here's one in particular.
Oh, he said, oh, here's one. You already knew when you started the sentence, you knew what it was going to be. You said it join up.
So here's the thing, y'all. So my wife, she's a night owl. And she enjoys, working and doing stuff and watching TV and just being up at all hours of the night. And she wants to be in the bed with the TV on. And so I got issues with that. I'm not really feeling that. That's not my flow. I want it to be pitch black. I want light blackout curtains and all that type of stuff because I want it to be...
He wants the perfect sleeping experience.
I absolutely do. But my wife,
I'm like, dude, all we need is like 4 hours and we can keep it moving.
Yeah, so she want to go to sleep with the TV on, with the music on, with all that type of stuff. Now, I do like the white noise. But so essentially, she has one way of doing things and I got another way of doing things. And what I've learned in our relationship is that I can't always have it my way, even though I do get it my way most of the time. I've learned to accept my wife, in terms of what she likes and what her preferences are. and I've made room for her. So that's one small example in terms of just like the way we do things.
And some of the things that come up for me that the couples have a hard time accepting, a lot of these things have to do with the core personality of your partner. And so oftentimes what you'll find is that your personality, the core part of kind of how you express yourself, who you are and what you do, how you be and flow in the world is distinctly different from your partner.
So what you about to talk about? She about to go. So
I'm not about to go, y'all.
So I've learned to accept this.
We're talking about acceptance, right?
Yeah,
I mean, but it is divine. I want to lift this up really quickly because we need to do a video on this. Again, that you have your divine opposite for a reason. Most of the time, couples are not the same. They are opposite because one person brings out in the other person what they need to have developed and vice versa. So that's what it's supposed to be. And ain't nothing wrong with that, right? Okay, but let's just get back to what I'm talking about, right? So there may be some core parts of the personality. For example, one person, I'm not talking about us, I'm just saying in general, one person may express affection in a much more overt and outgoing way than the other person. So whether it be between the two of you, whether it be with the children, people in general, they may be more outgoing, just more carefree. The other person may be much more conservative, reserved, not affectionate in the way that we tend to see things. And that can really be a hard thing for the other partner because, hey, wait a minute, I want you to touch me sometimes. I want you to not only say good job to our son or to our daughter, but I want you to go over and give him a hug, or whatever. And so here's the thing. Fundamentally, the way that you get more of what you need from a relationship is through the art of acceptance. Because at the core of this issue, in terms of this example around differences in personality, around affection, for example, it shouldn't be that you just kind of let the person just gets to do them. I don't show affection. I'm not affectionate. I don't do that. That's just not how I do. Or that the person who's, uber affectionate gets to just kind of basically project everything that they want onto the relationship. I want you to hold hands. I want us to, be cuddled up all over the place. And I want you to go and, sing a song with each of our children, about how much you love them, right? It doesn't work that way. But the way that your partner is more open to what you have to say and more open to looking at how you model certain things, because again, the divine order of things is that two people come together to share and show the other person parts of themselves that they are not familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if I'm not familiar with being affectionate, if I'm not familiar with perhaps kind of being a little more reserved, I see that in my partner and they show me how to do that, but I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to acknowledge what I see. And I'm certainly not going to take a step and try to do more of it if I don't feel accepted for who I am. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to always run my mouth. At the end of the day, I'm always going to be a little uber expressive. I'm always going to talk like this. I'm always going to be the divine opposite of him. And he's going to be like water and I'm going to be like fire. And if I feel like that's not accepted, I don't care about you and your water. I ain't taking on none of them watery capacities or capabilities. I got real confused right there for a minute. Stay with me.
Calm that fire down.
Stay with me, right? But I'm not going to do any of that. I'm not going to be inspired to do that because I don't feel respected as a person. I don't feel accepted. I don't feel okay. Same thing for him. I don't feel like it's okay for me to just be me. Let me be me, and then I'll draw up some other things that you want if I feel accepted. So this acceptance thing can be really empowering to a relationship, and it can be empowering to another person because people do not reveal more of who they are, more of who they are that they don't even know. They don't even know that that's in them until they feel totally, fully okay to be who they naturally are in your presence.
So one key thing that you mentioned, baby, was, you don't really fully feel comfortable being vulnerable and being allowed to be who you are, unless that person fully openly accepts you. And so what I'm curious to know is, what would we say to folks in terms of, how do you demonstrate that acceptance? Like, how do I demonstrate that acceptance for you?
Well, no, let me not go to, see how we do as human beings, we've got to go to a negative. Let me tell you how you didn't demonstrate it the other day.
Dang.
Remember what you said to me?
But how do I demonstrate acceptance?
How do you demonstrate acceptance?
Yeah.
Of what? Of just
of you?
Me in general?
Oh.
I think that I feel totally okay to be. I just feel like, and particularly if I think about our relationship in terms of how we run our household, we're in business together, how we run our business. There are things that I naturally am more inclined to do. And so there are ways that I have, I may be, I talk a little bit more, I ask a little more questions, I'm a little more, pointed in terms of my processes and very particular about how we do certain things. And there are definitely times and ways where you say, hey, wait a minute, we need to compromise on this. I'm not feeling that. But in general, I don't feel hampered. I don't feel like, because I know that my way is different, I don't feel like you're knocking me. I don't feel like you are, hampering me or making me feel as though I'm doing the most or whatever. There are times when that happens, but in general, I feel like I'm okay to be who I am, and that you support me in that. And particularly, let me just be real, particularly as a woman and as a wife, particularly when you're a wife who, I know that I am a, what's the word I'm looking for? I got it going on. I'm a strong sister, right? I'm opinionated. I'm clear about who I am. I am a CEO by nature. That's who I'm is. Okay. I know that. And so a lot of times when you're with a spouse or with a partner, if you don't feel comfortable knowing that they're comfortable in who they are. So if I didn't feel that you were comfortable in who you are, then as a woman, and women have talked about this, you feel like, okay, I don't want to shine too much, or I don't want to be too much of this or too much of that, because I don't want you to feel some type of way, and I don't want other people looking at us to feel like, well, what's going on there? Because then you have this self-conscious kind of thing going on in terms of how you're presenting to the world. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I don't have to worry about that. Because ultimately, love y'all, but I really don't care about what y'all think all like that. You understand what I'm saying? I understand. I'm concerned about my husband. I'm concerned about you. And I'm concerned about us and our unit. And I feel like you give me the authority fully to totally be who I am and not have to shrink myself because in some way it may make you feel, or it may appear to diminish you. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal for me.
And I think, to concretize, what you do for me, what I'll say is that,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because you said he says things like, do you, boo? Like, right? Because I just said how he made me feel, but what does he do? He lets me know, do you? Oh, no, you got it. You make that call. You go ahead and have that conversation. Set that up. And I'm going to bounce off of you. It's all good. He gives me the go ahead and he lets me know it's all good. And then he'll say at times, he'll say, like, no, I'm going to go ahead and handle that part, whatever it is, but you communicate that you are okay and in the flow with me. And if we're kind of out of sync, you communicate. You say like, I'm not feeling this, or whatever the case may be.
So that's good. So I definitely do that. And what you do for me, baby, is you intuit when it's time to fall back. And I really appreciate that. So more specifically, if I'm stressed about something, or if I'm feeling overwhelmed, or if I feel like I need my space, you'll tune into me. And it's not even necessarily by what you say. It's almost like through how you look at me and how you feel my energy. You'll know when to like just leave me be. And so I like when when you fall back and you allow me space to gather myself, and go through a process of restoration, emotionally, mentally, and physically, so that I can resume and just be there for you and for our children. So again, you're leaving me alone, essentially, and it's not leaving me alone like don't bother me, but it's more so like you're taking care of me, by allowing me space to recuperate, and rejuvenate. So that's what I appreciate about you.
And I want to tie this up with a bow. I want you all to see how this very clearly feeds into this whole issue around acceptance, because what we just did is we just articulated really differences in personality. That was the example that I gave, and that the key thing that I know about my husband is that he really does need time to retreat. He needs time to retreat, to restore, to go within, to be quiet, to chill, right? That's his natural. And for me,
you gotta verbalize that. You gotta express it.
I'm moving. Let me talk about it. Let's move on to then. He's like, wait a minute. Can we like process what just happened before you on to the next thing, right? And so I'm learning from him. He's learning from me, but there is no judgment, and that has taken place with practice, because it's lots of times where he wants me to just shut up. And just chill and be quiet and slow down, right? And there are lots of times where I want him to just hurry the hell up, right? And come on with me. And what we've had to practice over time is how do we accept the core nature of who we are, and not stand in judgment of each other, gently encourage each other when we need to shut it down some more or bring it up some more, but do it in a way that respects the core preferences and personality of each other. And so we've just done it by practicing and honestly, the biggest thing that you just have to do is just process your feelings internally, and keep your mouth shut. You don't need to say a whole lot of what you're thinking about. What you did. If it's, that's that extra stuff that just agitates our relationships and agitates the process. So again, acceptance. Accept your partner for who they are. Gently challenge them, not by telling them, but by being what you need to be to the relationship, by giving the energy you need to give, because they will not share more and do more and expand more of who they are and who you want to see them be in the relationship because you tell them to do it. They will do it because they feel comfortable, because they feel they can trust you. They can trust the process. They feel safe. They feel okay, that they can be all of who they are as they also explore more of who they can be. And you can provide that framework. You can do that by how you show up and by the energy that you bring. Acceptance. Ultimately, you cannot do this for your partner if you have not done it for yourself.
True that.
So first, you got to do the work yourself. Ain't that right? But you can't do any of it if you don't stop playing.
And start pushing.
Stop pushing. Bye, y'all.